The recession is inevitable. The recession is coming. Why did the stock market bounce back on Monday, US time? Nobody knows. Should we just ask the monkey to randomly pick our stocks for us? Will this madness stop? Or will we continue to get poorer and poorer till one day we have to sell up shop, sell off all the houses, all our cars, and go live on the subway in California, just like a hobo, or anywhere in the world? It's not all doom and gloom. We should have just followed Meet Kevin and sold the lot. But the only thing went wrong with Meet Kevin is he brought back in too early, and he just seen his stocks plummet and plummet and plummet all the way to zero. Not quite, not exactly, but so if you've gone into the wrong stocks at the wrong time, you lost 50-70%. That's not a good look for you at home, kids. And just imagine the taxes he had to pay on all that when you're looking at millions of dollars. Woohoo! And obviously with the likes of Netflix and Amazon dropping, I'm sure he brought into those ones. He's not looking so happy now. What can you do to survive the upcoming recession? Well, stick around to find out how. With your exclusive here at Barry Charles, I have all the financial news you need to be rich, rich, rich. Cha-ching! Well, first up, for a recession, one way we realised that there is possibly a recession is 3 weeks ago, the inverted yield curve happened. That has predicted 9 recessions since 1955. And as you can see, just over the last few weeks, it has affected the stock market badly. Just look at the Nasdaq. The worst it's been in a long, long time, since 2008 in April. It's absolutely been a train wreck for any of the tech giants. Even stocks like Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Netflix, Meta platforms have all hit the RAF, the inverted yield curve, which in basic terms means that the short-term US Treasury is paying a higher rate than the 10-year long-term US Treasuries. When you add on top the GDP is down 1.4% for the quarter, and you have rate hikes in the last 13 rate hikes, 10 times, it has caused a recession. As people can't afford car loans, they can't pay their mortgages, so they have to have mortgagee sales and have to set up shop somewhere else, start renting. People struggle to pay for food and petrol, can't make ends meet, forcing the ones that do have investments to sell them off just to survive. So what impact will the recession have on you as an individual and the global market? Stay tuned to find out. If you like this in-depth analysis on the financial news and a little bit of light-hearted fun in between, I'd be very grateful if you just smash the like button right out of the park. Pooh! I'm waiting. Push the like button. Because you know you are the most adorable subscribers out there. Oh, I was just talking about the Shiba Inu, sorry. Or you can always subscribe because Elon Musk is going to give us all Dogecoin for Twitter so we can tip on Twitter. Oh, you're such a gentleman there, Elon Musk. I'm sure you're going to do it for us, surely. So subscribe to the channel and be part of the #1 news channel on finance in the world. And you were here first, before everyone else. Get your barbecue sauce ready. Let's put a steak on the barbecue, on the fry it all up with some beautiful caramelized onion, French fries, and slaw, as we make sure we survive this recession by investing wisely so we can build for the future. So what is a recession, you might ask out there? Well, basically, when the whole world's gone crazy and the apocalypse is coming. When Donald Trump is back to president, no! Martial law has come in. We're suddenly all taken off our land against our will, or we've been put into a concentration camp, locked up in all these little rooms with heaps of people with no food to eat. Kanye West is singing Taylor Swift songs now. You know you're really in the apocalypse if this is happening. Oh no, there's a world without reality TV. Hallelujah, 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 here we go. Hallelujah. Oh, don't be sad out there if we lose reality TV. I'm sure we all love it. We don't want to have to listen to the Kardashians talk about the best physique or who's got the best celebrity boyfriend. I think we should call on Black Panther or Aquaman or Wonder Woman to save the day if we stop being so superficial, staring too hard at their physique. Look at those hard rock hands. or the pristine curves of the body. Whoa. Sorry, I was just daydreaming. Just kidding out there. But the recession is back. Basically, what a recession starts off with is the GDP. And it doesn't stand for Groundhog Day people. It stands for Gross Domestic Product, which basically gives us an outlook on the US goods and services, or any country you want to look at. If the GDP is growing, everything is rosy. We're all heading to the promised land, and all of our dreams will come true. But when the GDP drops and crashes to the floor, the market is looking bleak. Goods and services are not selling. People are spending less money. The interest rates tend to go up, skyrocketing to the moon. And currently we are halfway there to a recession, as we've gone through one quarter of minus GDP growth. If that happens again next quarter, we're officially in a recession here in the US. Does that mean time to panic? I don't know. Get me out of here. Let's go to Canada. Or let's go somewhere else. Let's go to beautiful Spain or Portugal or Greece, on the Greece island. No, it's not time to panic. You just need to understand your financial situation and you take and use it for your advantage. Especially if you've got money on the sidelines, it's time to invest, not financial advice. Cha-ching! So the misconception here is taking out a loan in recession time is the worst time to take a loan. Well, to be honest, it's absolutely not, especially if you're getting into that middle class up to the top range and the investing in like the real estate side of things, because you can buy houses at ridiculous prices. Say for instance, a house was worth $1 million and you could buy it for $500,000. Well, simple as this. You buy two of them like that, and within a couple of years, you got $1 million in equity. Woohoo! Or even more if it skyrockets back way past $1 million, because eventually it'll just go back up and up and up. That's pretty much 90% of the house market eventually just goes up and up and up. Sometimes there's places that decline, because everyone is leaving the joint. So that's the only place you don't want to invest. So although you might get a little bit short-term pain in terms of paying more interest than what you do generally, it is a very good time. It's a very good time to buy, because you can just get massive deals. When it's good times, it's harder to get good deals. You can get some good deals, but generally it's for the people right at the top of the list that can get those great deals. But just remember, in a couple of years, you can just remortgage and you will drop down your price, no problem at all. And just think about all the equity you got. You can buy 2 or 3 more houses just like that in a couple of years, or even before. If the prices just skyrocket straight after the recession and we're back to where we were, wow, what do you do there? This is when you got to get smart if you're going to invest in real estate, because sometimes recessions last a few months, or sometimes it can last 18 months. This is in the US. So what do? Get yourself on the property market as quick as you can. I know for some people you may not be there yet, but the time is now to start saving towards that house. I don't care what your situation is. You can do it. You need to cut out something. Whether that's smokes, alcohol, takeaways, there's a lot of things. And Netflix subscription. Everyone says we don't have enough money. That is baloney. Everybody can do something. And you got the opportunity to change your lifestyle so you can live a flash life like me. Look at me in the background here. Just at the beach house, just chilling, getting ready for the good day. Anyway, back to the program. Well, what do you do on the stock market side? Do we just invest? We've always heard this term, buy the dip. Just keep buying the dip and you'll be fine. Well, that's not necessarily the case. If you keep buying a dud that has no long-term potential as a company, you are throwing your money down the toilet. You might as well give it to me and I'll save you from financial burden. Because you can buy into long-term safe stocks and you've got no problem coming back in 20 years time or even more. You've doubled or even tripled your money. No questions asked. Not financial advice. Pretty much on the mark. If you go with a safe, decent company that is continuing to grow, you will make money. But there's some of you out there that goes, well, why should I buy into those stocks? I want to buy into all the flash stocks that are going to go to the moon. Well, a lot of those stocks, like say Palantir, that's all about artificial intelligence, and you got Planet Hollywood, that's about the marijuana area. You got Smile Direct Club, it's about your teeth. Cha-ching! And there's so much more of these stocks that everyone's saying is going to skyrocket to the moon. And they have, and then they've crashed and burned. And people are saying, it's coming back. Let's get on this gravy train to money heaven. Well, are you ready to take that ride? Can you see your stock go from $100 down to $10 and you lost 90%? Have you got the right to go buy the dip all the way and go back up to the moon? Well, if you were investing in Amazon at that time before the dot-com bubble and you kept buying, you're laughing all the way to the bank. But I tell you what, 99.9% of those people at that time in Amazon would have sold out. But that 0.001% of you that kept your money in Amazon, I congratulate you because you were a genius. So what's one thing I've learned about it? We've had a couple of recessions. What do you do in this market here if you want to invest? Well, one thing I know is there is no guarantees in life. There's guarantee of taxes apparently, so there's something, and you know the other one, the morbid one, but we don't need to go there. We're going to live forever. But first of all, cryptocurrency. What do we do here with that or stock? Now, you've heard ones that have gone to the moon, like for instance, Shiba Inu, GameStop, Dogecoin. Now, these are three key examples of ones that have skyrocketed and then crashed down. Even Zoom Technologies, you want to add another one in there that's skyrocketed and crashed. You need to sell it. There's a few things you could do in these situations. You could sell out what you put into it, so you haven't lost any money, and invest that somewhere else. You could sell the whole lot and invest into something else you think is going to keep going, or you can take more than what you put in and made a profit and leave a little bit in there, so hoping if it keeps going to the moon, you're fine. If it drops, no biggie. Now the questions about doing this sort of stuff is you need a decent profit gain here before you do that. If you've made 100%, well, you might lose 40% in taxes. So that's the question you've got to look at when you're doing this sort of investing stuff on your profits. Depending on your echelon of where you earn and where you are in different countries are all different, but they take a lot of tax off you, especially if you're selling before a year. Now, because you don't want to end up like these ones that have crashed and burned, like the Jamaican bobsled team in Cool Runnings, or well, we know recently Will Smith. What the hell was he doing trying to slap someone? He thought he was all cool, walking up all sound like I'm the man. But really, he comes out looking like the fool, just like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So his next movie, Bad Boys for Life, has been put on the back burner. Will he ever get to do it? Who knows? But anyway, getting it back to the stock market. A weak stock with not much conviction is going to sell first in a recession. So the ones like the retail investors, stocks, penny stocks, the higher risk stocks. So some of these stocks, as I said before, you could be backing a dead horse and there's no point investing more into a company that might be going bankrupt. Now, obviously, with these high-risk stocks, there's a few things that can help you or make this hard. And what are they? These are the ones that can make you the richest the fastest, and they can make you the poorest the fastest at the same time. So high risk, high reward. And some people like to play that game. If you want to play that game, really do your research on these companies. If you think this company's just going to be to the moon, like people with Tesla, they got that one right. Well, good on you. But just be ready, because you could go bankrupt as well if you put it all in on one basket. So don't, and tell you now, don't invest into just one stock. You need more. Now, there's people say you need to buy 50, 100 stocks. I don't believe that either. I think that's too diverse. Even if you're rich, I think at the absolute most, you should have 10 stocks. I think it depends on what sort of money you got. If you got $1 million to spend, 100k in each stock is alright. But then I'd probably want this one of my top stocks to be 500k. It's a bit of a, I think, yes, that's the one. I'm a little bit more high risk. I wouldn't say I go on super high risk stocks all the time, but you could argue that I go a lot more all in on a stock that I really love, and I think it's just the safe one. I have a whole lot of that one. Take that one. But there's a bit of everyone has different strengths and weaknesses and what's going to affect you. Like if you see your stock going down, it's hard to keep hold of it and just keep buying. I mean, we've all go through these stages. I've sold out and bought into a whole lot of stocks, but I've got a little bit more settled now. Pretty much know, yep, this is the stocks I want to be in. Just keep buying. Like I've just recently bought into, say, Facebook, for instance, and I bought in, well, I had dropped a bit, but then it really went bang. I just keep buying, just get my cost price down and wait for it to go back up to 400. And eventually, I'm telling you out there, because I'm probably saying in every video, it's going to 1,000. Not financial advice, but I believe this company will eventually just go boom again once the metaverse comes reality. Yeah, so when you look at when we're going back to like the high risk stocks, if you're going to, I was talking a little bit more about more stocks I conviction, but these high risk stocks, if you're gonna do that, yeah, I would say go in like 10. You might argue you could go in 100. You put like 1,000 into 100 of them and see where you end up, because if one of them goes to the moon, it probably will skyrocket sort of material. So that's the thing with high risk stocks. You you can probably take more of a gamble and have a little bit more chance of making absolutely decent money, or you can get a nice slow steady approach like index funds and get 8 to 10% a year. And what's wrong with that? Better than having it in the bank. But just remember out there, folks, do your own due diligence. Don't listen to some guy on YouTube that's just telling you to buy the stock, or you got to do your own research before you invest in any investment. So getting to the crutch of it, how would I invest in the recession if I just had, let's say you had 500,000 to spend with loans or whatever? What would you do with that 500,000 right now? There's quite a few options you can do here. You could start your own business, which again is very high risk, but it's certainly the best reward. If you can nail a decent business, absolute capital going gangbusters like Apple sort of business, it is no doubt the best option. But again, there's obviously a risk that can go bankrupt because your product doesn't sell, you don't market it well. It's all that sort of stuff that goes into investing into a business. But it's definitely something I would look at. But for me, it's a little bit, what do you do? Because you got real estate as well. The only problem with real estate is it can be very time consuming unless you get a portfolio manager. So like say you got 100 units or something, you probably want to have a manager. If you have a manager that does that and you're just making heaps of money, it's just worth doing. But if you only got 1 or 2 houses, you're probably more better off to do it yourself because you're not really going to be cost effective. But they can be a little time consuming. You got to take all the photos and go and investigate the property every 3 months or so. So that's just something to think about if you're going to go into real estate. It's not just as easy as buying a house and renting it out. You got to maintain the property. It's a whole lot of stuff that goes into investing into real estate. And then also you got investing into stocks and cryptocurrencies. There's obviously going to be a part that you're going to invest into there. So going back to the 500,000, I would it depends on what sort of, if it's a loan basis, if it's 250k a loan, 250k on a house, I would, depending on the house, could be worth 750, or a million, like that sort of thing. And then I wouldn't want to, people use margin and that, but I'd rather say if I had cash, then I'd put cash into investing. I don't really want to put a loan out on investments. It's not my kind of thing. I like to just have that money and just invest every week. So getting back to what would you do? So buy a house. If you got 250k to spend, just boom, or even more. Then you got about 150k here sitting around for me. So that takes up to 400, just straight into stocks. So I'd say maybe 120k into stocks and 30 into crypto, or even a bit less. I would, for me personally, not financial advice, Bitcoin and Ethereum, they'll be the only two I really look at. I don't really look at anything else. I just find it too, I had to go with Dogecoin and I made a little bit of profit, but I could have made a way more when it was way up high. That was one of the mistakes I learned in investing. So that'd be the only two I'm investing in crypto. I sort of like NFTs, but at the moment I just don't like that most of them you can't get it back out for cash. Now if NFTs were able to come back out in cash, I would be loading the boat. But I like the Thief collectibles at Disney, but there's a little bit of worries that they could just cut it at any time and Disney just take it over, and the ones they brought in, it's all worthless. And at the moment, you can't actually sell it for actual cash at the moment. So you could have made a whole lot of money, but you can only buy more Thief collectibles like the Spider-Man and all that. But you can't actually get it out. If you're made say $1 million, you can't get it out. So that's the issue at the moment with the NFT space. It's you can say you've got $10 million, but if you can't actually cash it out, you may never be able to cash it out, and it's just a joke money. So that's just something you have to think about with NFTs. If I was going to invest into specific stocks, I'm probably not going to go into specific stocks. I can give you a bit of an idea of where, obviously tech has dropped recently, and tech always seems to be a big company. If you like certain tech stocks, it's a good time to get into them. If you're looking outside of tech stocks, you got all these recession players again that have just struggled to just hit the roof and go. But you could look at the cruise lines, they're possibly still down a bit from where they could be, but how high are they going to go? That is the problem, because they're in a lot of debt, so it's going to take a while for them to get back to where they were. So it's interesting plays on some of those. But personally for me, if I was you out there, I'd be trying to find what is the next big thing. Electric vehicles around, but that sort of is last year's news, or last 5 years news. What else is coming? There's the metaverse, obviously. This is one big talking point, but then there's going to be more than the metaverse. But who's going to be number one in that space? That's the argument. At the moment, the big talk is between Microsoft and Facebook. And I've said all along that Facebook was number one, but Microsoft have really really done some good buys like Activision Blizzard, and really, as you can see, the stock price really skyrocketed since that's happened. So it's going to be interesting to see how that space goes. And Microsoft is doing very well, and they're gearing up for the metaverse as well. So, and you also got to look at, maybe you need dividend stocks. If you haven't got a lot of money, this is more for the people that haven't got a lot of money. I know it's not tax efficient, but if you just want a stream of income coming in, bang, buy a dividend stock. Now, these riskier stocks, you can go for simpler ones that don't pay you much. But if you can find one that pays you about 3 or 4% or even more, but 3 or 4%, it's a decent way to go. And just keep piling that money back into that stock or another stock that's on discount. So what are other ways to make income in a recession or just in general? Well, obviously you got the rent in a house. You can rent out your business if you own some land or if you own a farm. Dividend in the stocks, as I said before. You might buy a stock for $1 and you get 5 cents for every one. So you get 5% back on your every stock you brought into. You obviously can have business income coming in, affiliate links, which whether it could be an online poker game, it could be casino, it can be like stock market related. So many avenues there. Obviously, like you got Amazon, Crypto.com, Robinhood, Webull, the list just goes on. You can buy and sell stuff online. Find something at say $50 that's worth like $200. You pay the $50 and you might pay $20 delivery, so there's $70. You sell it to someone else for $200, you made $130 profit. Just stuff like that. There's always bargains out there on different websites around the world, eBay and etc., that you can look for bargains. Well, that's enough time for me, guys and gals. I hope you enjoyed the video. Got a bit of a look at what the recession looks like in America and what it look around all around the world in different countries as well. I would love to see your views on the matter. Just comment down below in the description and I'll answer all your questions. If you want a video on this channel, just let me know and I'll do my best to put something out there just for you, the fan. I hope you stay healthy and well as you invest wisely, so your future for yourself and many generations to come will have fantastic opportunities to live a life you always dreamed about. Take care out there. We'll see you all at the next video.